Stop scrolling for a second, because before we talk about viral footage, before we even mention confrontation, you need to understand something. This story didn't start with raised voices or swinging arms. It started months ago, quietly, in plain sight, while millions of people watched and didn't realize what they were watching. What you're seeing unfold right now is the collision point of three worlds that were never supposed to overlap this closely. A streamer at the absolute top of the internet, a rapper with one of the most intense fan bases in music, and a relationship that ended so publicly it turned into a battleground. And now, all of it has led to a moment that has people asking questions nobody wanted to ask. So let's rewind properly. For a long time, Kai Cenat and NBA YoungBoy existed in completely separate lanes. One dominated Twitch, the other dominated hip-hop charts. But if you watch Kai's streams closely over the years, you know this wasn't just a casual overlap. Kai didn't just play YoungBoy's music in the background. He felt it, dancing on stream, turning up, quoting lyrics, standing on chairs, letting the music control the room. This wasn't streamer behavior, this was fandom, and his audience loved it. Because when Kai vibed to YoungBoy, it felt authentic, not forced, not strategic, just a fan enjoying music in real time. But here's where things quietly shifted. When you reach a certain level of fame, nothing is ever just a reaction anymore. Every move becomes interpreted, every opinion gets dissected, every reaction gets measured. And that's exactly where the tension started to build. Fast forward to the album reactions. Kai does what Kai always does. He reacts honestly. He laughs. He vibes. He critiques. And then he does something that, in hindsight, feels small, but turned out to be massive. He rates the project. Not a diss, not hate, not disrespect, just an opinion. A 6.5. And in any other corner of the internet, that would have been the end of it. But YoungBoy's fan base isn't any other corner. That number stuck. Screenshots spread. Clips circulated. People replayed that moment over and over again. Some fans took it personally. Others brushed it off. But the energy shifted. Suddenly, people weren't just watching Kai react to YoungBoy. They were watching how he reacted. And that distinction matters. Then came the concert. Kai shows up, front row, locked in, emotionally invested. At one point, he visibly tears up during a song that hits deep. For some people, this confirmed everything. See, he's a real fan. For others, it created questions. Was that genuine? Was that guilt? Was that trying to repair energy? Nobody said it out loud at the time, but people remembered it. Because the internet never forgets moments once they become useful. Now let's bring Gigi into this. Kai and Gigi weren't a secret. Their relationship played out publicly. Streams, photos, moments. And when things were good, they looked good. But when things ended, they ended loudly. Kai posts that he's single, says he doesn't want relationships anymore. The tone feels hurt, defeated, final. Immediately, the internet starts doing what it does best, speculating. And then a rumor surfaces. Not confirmed, not proven, but explosive. The idea that NBA YoungBoy somehow entered the picture. Suddenly, everything from the past few months gets pulled back up. The rating, the concert, the reactions, the silence. People start connecting dots, whether those dots actually connect or not. And once that narrative takes hold, it spreads faster than facts ever could. Now pause. This is important. There has never been verified proof that anything inappropriate happened between Gigi and YoungBoy. Gigi denied it. YoungBoy dismissed it. DJ Academics shut down claims that he spread it. But here's the problem. Once a rumor feels dramatic enough, denial doesn't kill it. It fuels it. Because now people start asking, why is everyone denying this so hard? And that's how tension snowballs. So now you've got this backdrop, a breakup, a controversial rumor, a fan base on edge, an artist with a history of intense reactions from the internet, and a streamer already dealing with mental pressure publicly. All of this is happening before any footage goes viral. This is the pressure cooker, which brings us to the moment everything changes. Midway through this story, footage starts circulating. Not a stream, not a post, not a reaction. Real-world footage. People recognize faces. Voices are raised. The energy feels wrong. And instantly, everyone's mind jumps back to the last few months. The tension, the rumors, the unresolved narratives. People don't see a random altercation. They see a culmination. And that's why this clip hits harder than it normally would. Because in people's minds, this wasn't a coincidence. It was an eruption. Now here's where things get dangerous. Because once that footage went viral, the narrative jumped straight to consequences. Was law enforcement called? Did things escalate off camera? Did this turn into something bigger? And then, without confirmation, that one word started circulating again. Arrested. No paperwork, no official statements, just repetition. And repetition is powerful. But let's be clear. At this moment, there is no confirmed public record proving that any arrest occurred related to the situation. What exists is speculation fueled by context, and context, when emotional, can be misleading. What makes this moment so uncomfortable is that it feels like a line was crossed, even if nothing legally happened. Because this wasn't content, this wasn't entertainment, this wasn't scripted. This was real life colliding with internet narratives that had been building quietly for months. And when those worlds collide, the fallout isn't immediate, it's slow, it's reputational, it's psychological. Behind the scenes, moments like this trigger conversations most people never see. Teams reassess, brands ask questions, security tightens, lawyers quietly pay attention. Even if nothing comes of it, the damage doesn't need to be public to be real. So where does that leave us now? In limbo, no confirmations, no denials that end the conversation, just silence, and a story that refuses to go away. And that's the most dangerous phase of any viral situation, because the longer the silence lasts, the more people fill it with their own version of events. This isn't about proving who was right or wrong. This is about recognizing how fast narratives form when fame, emotion, and rumor overlap. Kai didn't ask to be part of this story. YoungBoy didn't confirm being part of this story. Gigi denied being part of this story. Yet here we are, because once the internet decides there's a storyline, it doesn't wait for permission. And here's the part nobody wants to admit out loud. Even if nothing illegal happened, even if nobody was detained, even if this never goes further than a viral clip, this moment already did damage. Because perception travels faster than truth. Once the internet feels like it understands a story, it stops waiting for updates. It picks a side, builds a narrative, and moves on as if the ending already happened. And that's exactly what we're watching unfold right now. Let's talk about Kai for a second. Not the streamer persona, not the clips, not the reactions, the person. Over the past year, Kai has been unusually open about pressure, burnout, and mental health. He's talked about feeling overwhelmed, about needing breaks, about how being at the top doesn't feel how people think it does. That context matters, because when you're already carrying emotional weight, situations don't need to be massive to feel explosive. Small moments hit harder, tension escalates faster, silence feels louder. And if you're constantly online, there's no off switch. Every rumor reaches you, every comment lands, every narrative tries to define you before you get a chance to speak. So when people saw Kai involved in something physical, something unscripted, something messy, it shocked them. Not because he's incapable of anger, but because he's usually the one laughing things off. This time, there was no laugh. Now flip the lens. Think about the pressure on YoungBoy's side. This is someone who has spent years under a microscope, years where every move, every association, every rumor has been amplified beyond control. When your name is constantly attached to controversy, deserved or not, people stop giving you the benefit of the doubt. So when footage like this surfaces, the assumption isn't what happened, it's here we go again. That doesn't mean anything bad actually happened, but it explains why people immediately assumed consequences. Now this is where things get uncomfortable, because this is the moment everyone keeps dancing around, but nobody wants to slow down and actually talk through properly. The alleged Kai Cenat and NBA YoungBoy confrontation. And notice the word I'm using very carefully here, alleged, because what the internet is calling a fight exists in a very specific gray area. Here's what we know, and more importantly, what we don't know. Footage began circulating showing what appears to be a heated, real-world encounter involving both camps. Not a stream, not content, not jokes. Real people, real movement, real tension. Voices raised, bodies stepping in, people trying to separate things before they went any further. And the reason this clip immediately hit harder than most is because of who was involved and when it happened. This wasn't random. At least it didn't feel random. Because in the weeks leading up to this moment, there was already unresolved energy floating around the internet. The breakup, The rumors, the YoungBoy name being attached to Kai's personal life, whether fairly or not. The album rating that fans never forgot. The silence that let speculation breathe. So when people saw this footage, their minds didn't process it as a one-off confrontation. They processed it as a culmination, like something that had been simmering finally boiling over. Now, here's where the narrative gets dangerous. Some people immediately labeled it a fight. Others said it was just a heated exchange that got broken up quickly. Some claimed it escalated off camera. Others said it ended right there. And that's where we're going to leave this for now. No confirmations, no final answers, just a situation that's still unfolding in real time. What started as online tension turned into something much bigger, and until someone involved fully addresses it, the truth sits somewhere between what we've seen and what people believe. If more details come out, this story changes fast, and when it does, we'll revisit it. I'll see you in the next one.